United's pursuit of Shea Charles has gotten infinitely more confusing as the club have continued to make moves and offers, and Southampton have continued to sort of push them back in a bit of a weird way. However, I'm gonna have a go at talking it through. I'm gonna take a little bit of a deep dive into the news around Shea Charles. Some people believing that the deal is done, some people believing it's not, and I personally fall on the side of the move being imminent, which I think is a pretty big step forward. But before I get into everything, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, it'd be massively appreciated. Thank you very much. So, to begin with, what is the story around Shea Charles so far? Young Southampton midfielder, not plays for England, but is English, which means he adds to a homegrown quota. Ultimately, a very, very good player who plays at a very, very good level and has a hell of a lot of potential, and Leeds United have seen that potential and gone, I'd quite like some of that. That'd be absolutely wonderful. Also, I just thought I'd address the sort of elephant in the woods. I'm at 7 aside, but I've gone to a little wooded thicket because the light's quite like dim and nice. But anyway, and earlier in the weekend, we heard the news that the weekend was the rough sort of deadline for Leeds United to get a move done, which was fairly significant, which meant that everyone sort of thought, right, okay, something's going to have to get going or something's going to have to not. Now, different sources have different opinions on this. So a source that I personally know that has occasionally gotten things right, occasionally gotten things wrong, a little bit wobbly from time to time, has said that Leeds United put in a third bid and have not had a response at all from Southampton, which is not necessarily the situation that we want to be in. Then, if you go beyond that, another source has said that Leeds United have already had personal terms with Shea Charles. That one I completely understand and agree with. Leeds continuing this pursuit to this degree implies in my head that we have already sorted out personal terms with Shea Charles. It wouldn't make sense to go back bid after bid after bid after bid if there was any doubt that we could secure the player on a personal level. That bit, locked in, without a doubt, for me. And then you get to those that are saying that the deal is effectively done. And for this one, I have several people that sort of make sense as sources. I've got someone who says that on the Southampton side, Shea Charles is effectively gone, which makes a lot of sense. I know someone who says that the deal is imminent and coming in the next couple of days, which makes a lot of sense. And I know someone else who says that it's effectively sorted. Again, I'm not going to go naming people because I don't think that's particularly useful, but again, working in sports broadcasting, you get to know folks, which is quite good. The rough summary of it is that Leeds United's issues were reportedly with Southampton around the structure of payment. Southampton, having just gone down, would therefore like a hell of a lot of money in advance. If it's something like 25 million quid, it'd be a case of, can we just have 25 million pounds straight up? Whereas Leeds United, a side that will have to deal with SCR fairly significantly this season because we've got a lot of work to do. Sorry, I keep hearing rustling noises and I'm like, is it a squirrel? Is it a person? Because if it's a person, they're a wood person, and that'd be terrifying. But Leeds have effectively taken the opinion of it would be easier for us to do the move in installments. So it's a case of 15 plus 5 million if we survive, plus another 5 million if you get X amount of goals or whatever it is. I don't know what specific installments we're looking at, but I know that that is our rough preferred structure. Now, that being the issue, this being the 13th of July, which was reportedly the deadline for a Shea Charles sort of agreement to be made at the end of the weekend, everything starts to add up. Because at the start of the weekend, everyone was sort of saying, well, no, we've not got anything, but we've got a deadline. On the 13th, the end of the weekend, everyone is saying there is a move that is happening. And then reportedly, Southampton were potentially going to look on and talk to other clubs that have an interest. I heard Palace had a potential interest. I think I've heard Newcastle around the situation, but it's very, very complicated. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. Hold on. I've been hearing football noises and bird noises and hay fever noises in my own head, so I've been a little bit confused. Anyway, to continue. In the event that we didn't get that agreement, there would be a move going forward with the likes of Palace or Newcastle. However, an agreement has reportedly been met with Southampton, which is good. It means that Leeds United are going to get that sort of young, upcoming midfielder, and I think he'll add a hell of a lot to the squad. There is a question around what that does to the sort of tactical layout of Leeds United next season, and that is a very interesting one in my opinion, because we've had the sort of discussion of Daniel Farke saying, I would quite like to go to 4 at the back again, which would, in theory, mean adding another midfielder, because in the event that we lose a midfielder, you'd want to add some reinforcements to that. At the moment, we're set up for a system with 2 central midfielders as opposed to 3, and you're always sort of looking to improve in the positions that you've got. You're looking to raise the foundation of your squad rather than just the ceiling, although the ceiling will also increase with the likes of Harry Wilson, and ideally a new goalkeeper. That is a topic for another video or stream. but it's a pretty big topic. I've heard a lot of stuff around goalkeepers recently, and I will dive into that in more detail later on. So, to continue. Adding Shea Charles in there means you've got someone who can play a sort of defensive midfield role, can progress it fairly effectively, and it means it also takes some of the weight off Ethan Ampadu and Anton Stach. When they weren't here, you could see the level of the squad visibly go down. Gruev is great, he's fine, I like him. Tanaka, great, fine, I like him. Longstaff, I've not really seen enough of, and there are various rumours flying around that he might look for a move away, which would make a lot of sense because he's going to want to be playing some football. But behind Ampadu and Stach, there's not that sort of firm quality, and in addition to that, there's not much youth. So part of the reason that I'm very excited about the potential for Leeds United signing Muharemovic is the fact that Muharemovic is a 22 or 23-year-old centre-back. That sort of youth, whilst adding a lot of quality, means that he's not only got resale value, but he can be here for a long, long time. If you added a new contract to Pascal Struijk, for example, then he'd be playing here until he's 31, which was fine, all well and good, brilliant, but it's a league where physicality is increasingly important, and into your 30s you're going to lose a touch of pace, you're going to lose a touch of strength, and you're going to start causing issues with the defenders around you. Whereas if you're gradually sort of adding some youth to these defensive structures and the attacking structures as well, which is sort of why I think we'll get more stuff done in the attacking department, but if you're adding more youth, that means you're adding more continuity, because in the event that we do go to a system that's got Stach and Charles and Ampadu in the midfield, eventually Stach and Ampadu are going to get a little bit older, and then you've got Charles, who once one of those two leaves still provides you with a solid base of players that have been here for a long time. That youth is essential. So, to sum everything up, in a video that I admit has been a little bit ramshackle because I forgot to bring my notes from my bag, and my bag is by pitchside, and I'm not by pitchside at the moment. Leeds United rumoured to have completed the deal for Shea Charles. Word is potentially in the door in the next couple of days, but again, a couple of the details were a little bit pinch of salty, but what I am hearing is Leeds United have confirmed an agreement for Shea Charles from Southampton, which would be absolutely fantastic. Brings that bit of youth, shows that a little bit more momentum in the window as well, because everyone's been getting a little bit spooked, everyone's getting a little bit scared, because well, if you have a look around, the matter of fact is we've got Wilson in so far, but aside from that, it's just rumours. But in my opinion, that's fine. Some people are getting a little bit of an itchy trigger. That was a fun hiccup. An itchy trigger finger. I think we're all right, but a move for Charles now would take us forward hugely. A move for someone like a Muharemovic would take us forward hugely, and it would be not only that, but a sign of intent for Leeds. A sign that we are willing to sort of make those leaps forward and pressure other sides by getting our deals done early and ultimately just sort of rocking the transfer window. I'm very, very happy with things at the moment. But I want to know how you guys are feeling. Let me know in the comments down below. That'd be massively appreciated. Like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff as well. I've got to go and play a game of football now, so I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.